Hi, friends and family. Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Bazaar. I'm Montana,
I'm Jessica, and we have
and go ahead, Jess. Go ahead.
joining us today. Go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Joe Diamond from the wild plains of Wisconsin.
I think you're our first actual guest for Weekly Bazaar. Is that right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've
I
been
think
guests
so.
for others.
Oh, I'm doubly, triply honored. This is awesome. Like we were talking about before we hit record, I've been going through the back catalog, and this is fun. I've been looking forward to this.
So much pressure on you. You're your first one. So tell us about yourself.
So many people call me many different things. Some people call me a mind reader. Some call me a mentalist or a psychic. I'm not a medium. I'm a large. That's my wife's favorite joke, so I have to say it every time I introduce myself. And I do interactive mind reading shows. Oh, and then ghostly things happen. I don't know if you guys heard that or.
Yeah, sorry. Give me a second.
There's already spirits
That's
coming in.
Sorry, that is my dryer.
Oh.
It will go away in a second.
What's your stomach? Oh my goodness. No, that's fine. That's totally fine. I was like,
and
oh my
an
gosh,
ambulance
no one's like house is falling by. Oh, of course. We just started. Nothing happens, and then the chaos demons just come out.
Yeah. Well, see, I live in a very old house. Yeah, I live in a very old house, so there's a lot of energy here. So if you hear that stuff, yeah. Okay.
So, well, speaking of old houses and energy, I do a weekly show called Psychic Parlor at the Maxwell Mansion in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It's one of the oldest and most haunted locations in Wisconsin. And yeah, what the show is kind of a blend of traditional like mind reading that was really popular in like the circus sideshows and also parlors in the Victorian era when they would have seances and mind readers, and like people would just do paranormal experiments and psychic experiments just at home for fun back in the day. And so a venue like the Maxwell Mansion is perfect for what I do. It's still kind of hard to explain for some people because, again, I'm not like telling them about like their dead relatives or anything. The best way I kind of describe it is instead of going to see a magician and they pull rabbits out of a hat, you come see me and I pull thoughts out of people's heads. So I have people think of things like pin code or names of people, or they bring objects and they hold on to them. I tell them my impressions about the objects. And we run that show year round, but for October, we're going to be doing a completely different show for Halloween, which will go more into the paranormal phenomena and history of the building itself.
Very cool.
That's really cool, yeah.
Just being in this chat with us, like, do you pick up on anything?
Yes, totally. Yes. Go to Vegas, put it all on black. Do it right now. Oh, it's too late. That the window passed. So I mean, that's the other thing too. We all have intuition. We all have vibes we get with people. Like, again, just talking to both of you beforehand, just hearing your podcast and like, oh, I dig their vibe. I dig how it's just very casual. It's like friends talking, and because it is. And more often than not, we don't trust our intuitions enough. I find so often people go, oh, I was going to go with that, but I changed my mind. It's like, so half the battle basically is just not filtering and going with that initial gut feeling. Like, for example, obviously, I've listened to the podcast, so I've got a bit of a vibe of the two of you already. But like, like with you, Jess, just from looking at you, your vibe, everything else around you, you've got kind of more of a spooky vibe back there with the painting and really awesome lamp. But that said, from you as a person, you are very, even though it is quite dark and moody, you are very much a person who brings light to other people. You're the kind of person who finds different systems and orders and brings light into their universe. And there's a good thing and a bad thing about that. The worst thing about it, I would say, is your light can shine light on negativity. And even though you're being positive, other people see that as being negative because you're shining a light on it. But again, more often than not, they need to see that, whether they like to or want to or not. They need to see it in order to move forward. Whereas Montana, I don't think you're a parent yet, but I think you've always had much more of a maternal caregiving energy. Again, not that you have to be a literal mom for this. That's the other thing too. A lot of times I pick up just on vibes or symbols, and sometimes people take them a little too literally. But with that energy, I think, Montana, I think you've always been the person to look out for other people, and as a result, they come to you for a lot of advice. So whereas with you, Jess, I think it's more looking outward and kind of showing people from where you are, showing the things people need to work on. I think people kind of gravitate more towards Montana. So those are just the vibes I'm getting right now. And again, normally in shows, I start off with more specific like thoughts, like I'll have people think of like, again, words, numbers, that kind of thing. In fact, we can even do some stuff with the two of you and some listeners later on too. But again, the biggest secret is, and that's why I don't even really like for the longest time, I was called a mind reader, and I prefer the term mystic, I think, just because, yes, my show right now is almost entirely mind reading, but I don't know, just like the more I work on my shadow work and more about how to, manifest certain things in my life, and also just, artistically in the show, I think that kind of is the better term overall. So I gave you the vibe I get of all three of us. I even threw myself in as a bonus.
Nice. And you're not the first person to tell me that, I will just say.
Interesting. Yes. Was it, did you go get a reading somewhere, or
well, I have,
was it just like a friend?
I used to work with a lady who considered herself an intuitive, and she would always tell me how strong my aura was, I guess. So like whenever we would pass in the hallway, we didn't know each other well, but she would always pick up on my energy, and she asked me one day if she could do like a Reiki session with me. And so she did, and she actually was not the one to tell me that. She actually told me that I have a blockage in my throat chakra, that I don't communicate what I'm actually feeling a lot of the time. But
got it.
Yeah, it was just a friend actually who I've known for years that told me pretty much word for word what you
awesome
did.
Well, there we go. And that's the thing too, like a lot of people ask me about Reiki and chakras, and I know like the bare minimum of that stuff. Like I couldn't tell you the chakras in order right now if I had to, but I would know which of my books on my shelf behind me to grab to be able to tell you. Again, it's more, for me, it is more of an energy or a vibe than like than like seeing an aura and that kind of thing. And again, dealing with people too, like the joke I say about, like I said, about being not a medium, the biggest thing with that, and that's part of the reason why I don't go by psychic, because so many people associate the word psychic with medium. They expect you to contact their dead relatives and stuff. And I have friends who are mediums. And it's funny, I get asked all the time, oh, can you talk to my dead relatives? And they get asked all the time, oh, can you tell me what I'm thinking? Even though we both do the opposite things. Or can you tell me what I'm feeling? And yeah, the thing my wife says, she is a much more skeptical, and like she is a history biology double major. She is science minded and all of this. And the line she has, which I say in shows now, which is, it's not so much, Joe, that you're psychic. You're just a straight white guy and with empathy, which in 2025 is a miracle. I'll take that. But again, like trying to describe it as like vibe feeler or, all those kinds of things. I guess intuitive. Well, the other thing too with words like intuitive and psychic, I feel we're all intuitive. I feel like we all have those, feelings we get. So it's just the same as calling myself human at that point, because I feel like that's something we all have. We just don't always, again, listen to it. Sometimes we get vibes about like, oh, that's going to happen in the future, or you get the vibe about the person. It might be for different, things. It might be picking up an object and holding on to it and picking up the vibes off of that. But I think almost all of us have that kind of inner voice, and it's just a matter of learning how to trust it.
Definitely. So how old were you when you first kind of noticed that you had a gift, if you will?
Oh, I got the book last week. I'm just hitting the ground running right now. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. In all seriousness, I was quite young. My great-grandmother taught me how to read playing cards, like tarot cards, because she pointed out that deck of cards has all the cycles of life. Like there's 52 cards in the deck, 52 weeks in the year, 4 suits, 4 seasons, extra haunted dryers, sometimes, that's that. Hey, that can happen. It can happen. Absolutely.
Go figure.
I just love that it just sounds extra spooky for this. That's what I love.
Yeah, I really have someone in my basement that's just banging on.
That's just trying to get out. Yeah.
Secrets out. Sorry.
Let me out of here.
We all have our secrets.
Just in case the FBI or NSA are listening, that was a joke for all of us. Don't. You can go check out their basements, but I'm joking. Anyway. So there's 12 picture cards in a deck, 12 months, 4 suits, 4 seasons. I think I said that. 13 values, 13 different phases of the moon. And the thing that still blows my mind to this day is if you add up like all the values in a deck of cards, like ace plus 2 plus 3, you get 364. And when you add the Joker, you get 365. So I learned like the numbers 1 through 10 and the 4 suits and the Jack, Queen, and King from regular playing cards for cartomancy. And so years later, when I started to learn tarot, I literally only had to learn the 22 major arcana because, diamonds goes to coins, cups goes to hearts, it's 1-to-1 pretty much. So I only had to memorize 22 more pieces of information to read tarot, which was kind of cool. And right around that same time, my late mother, she did daycare for these 2 girls, one of whom is now a nurse, and the other one works with her husband, who's a stage illusionist in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, at the Tristan Chris Magic Theater. And so every night she's getting sawed in half and flies around the stage like a superhero and all that. And they make a helicopter appear. And no, I don't know how they do it. But she went that direction. Her sister is a nurse, and her sister, one year for her birthday, got a tarot deck and a magic kit. And she's now a nurse. The 2 of us played with those things, and we both went off in those directions. And the friend, her sister, who actually got those, is now in nursing. So it's kind of funny how we're now making a living at the stuff we played with as a kid, which is kind of cool. But I had I was a big reader growing up too. I was reading books like The Time Machine and Invisible Man by the time I was like 5 or 6. In fact, by the time I got to 2nd grade, I had a 12th grade reading level, which it sounds impressive, but I still have a 12th grade reading level. I speak thoroughly. So and I got into, I did some improv in my, teenage years. I did lots of creative writing and a little bit of stand-up comedy, nothing super major. I have a few jokes I tell in my shows, but nothing like, I don't suddenly become Jerry Seinfeld and be like, what's the deal with the hermit card? Nothing like that. but learning how to talk to people, because I was also quite a shy kid, so learning how to be on a stage and bring people through a story. I loved TV shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents and The Twilight Zone. They were on Nick at Night when I was a kid, and I didn't process they were old shows either.
Mhm.
I just thought the black and white shows went on at 8 o'clock. That's all I thought. And I didn't realize these were super old shows and that the other kids at school weren't watching them. So I'd get to school the next day and be like, "Did you see Twilight Zone last night? To Serve Man. It's a cookbook." And they're like, "What are you talking about? What?" Yeah, so I was always a strange child, and I'm now just a strange man.
That's what we like
What?
around here. We like the weirdos.
Yeah. Normal is just a setting on the dryer.
Exactly.
One of my mantras.
Unless you're at my house, I guess.
Yes. Rattling prisoner in the basement is the setting on your dryer, I think. That's
Yeah.
So your mom was dragging dead bodies across the floor the other day.
Yeah, she was.
Do I want to know? Oh no.
It's just all the obstacles that we deal with on this podcast as far as noise
sure.
goes. We have to make stories up so it sounds cooler.
Mm-hmm.
No, my house was made in the 1830s. That's how old my house is.
Nice.
And so my mom's a teacher, so she decided her summer break, she wanted to clear out this basement because there's years and years of crap in this creepy basement. And so she was down there. Of course, she picked Tuesdays because everyone picks Tuesdays to be here. And that's when we do our podcast.
Yeah.
And she was down there moving stuff, and it literally sounded like she was scraping bodies across the floor. So,
just adds to the ambiance. Some people have to add in sound effects like that to make their shows extra spooky. But you guys, nope, just go with that.
Gotta go with it, yeah.
In theater of the mind, in podcast realm,
it's all raw and real over here.
It's great.
Don't Google that phrase though. Don't Google raw and real. You'll
definitely don't.
Yeah. Don't do that. I mean, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum. If you want to Google that, that's fine. But it's not going to be what we're talking about today.
No. So speaking of weird, because me and Jess have had quite a few weird things. What's probably the weirdest or creepiest thing in your life that still sticks out to this day?
Going to 12 years of Baptist school. That's I know that's not the answer you were looking for. I'll give you the actual answer you were looking for. But also not, hashtag joking, not joking.
Oh, I get it.
Like for me, again, strange things happen all the time in my work. It's hard to appreciate them sometimes when you're curating these different, stories and experiences for people. I've had lots of weird things happen during shows that I cannot explain. One time I had someone think of like a friend, and I do this whole thing where they imagine they're calling them on the phone. And I told them who they were thinking of, and right at that moment, their real phone started ringing. They forgot to turn it off. And just as a joke, I was like, "And see if it's Eric calling." And it was. And I just had to be like, "Yes, this is what happens in the show every time." Totally. Not let on. There have been times where it's the opposite, where something really weird happens, like at the Maxwell a lot, the chandelier in the ballroom where we do the parlor show it'll flicker, and sometimes it'll shake even when no one is upstairs above us. And when that happens, it's always a guy's sorry, let me just rephrase that. It's always a guy or someone's husband who's like, "Oh, that's a good trick. Okay, all right, that was good that you rigged that to make that happen." And I'm just like, "Okay, believe whatever scares you the least, but if I could make that happen every time, I would, but I can't." And I leave a lot of things open in my shows for things to happen that I have no control over. And as a result, chairs have moved on their own. People have felt presences. People have felt cold spots. People have seen like shadowy figures. So a lot of that stuff happens in my work because I invite it. That said, probably the biggest thing I can think of recently was a few years ago at the Maxwell Mansion. So it was during lockdown, and the owner let my wife and I stay there for a couple nights because no one was there. And on paper, it was like, cool, we get a little staycation out of the apartment, but still get to, isolate. But then we realized, oh, we're the only ones in this building for 2 days.
Just like
So,
Stephen King, right?
yeah, right. So she goes to bed early. She's an early bird. I'm a night owl. I'm sitting in front of the fireplace, having an old fashioned, reading a book, and the parlor has all these rooms around it in the ballroom, and so including over the fireplace. So I stand up and I look in the mirror above the fireplace, and there's someone standing over my left shoulder. And I
Ew.
think, oh, maybe the owner came back, maybe Lindsay came down. So I wasn't even like that startled. I was just like, oh, who is that? And turned around to see who it was. And when I turned around, no one was there. And when I turned back and looked in the mirror, no one was there. Now, full disclosure, I had had 5 old fashions that night, and I made them myself. I also still am not 100% sure I know how to make an old fashioned. So it was either the spirits or the spirits. That's my only disclaimer for others. That said, I've had drinks there besides that night and haven't seen stuff, haven't seen it, any other time, any other place. And the parlor is right over where the speakeasy is in the building, where Dr. Maxwell did a lot of his off the books surgeries when he was retired. I can't imagine every single surgery in the 1860s went well or perfect by modern standards. So I think that's why people get a lot of different energies there. One of the bartenders is convinced there's a little boy up on the 3rd floor. I've had, again, multiple mediums come through, and they all, I've always gotten a positive vibe there. It's like, that's the other thing too with most places. A lot of people want to just like earmonger and say every little thing is a demon. I won't say who. We all know the people I'm talking about with that stuff. But I figure you can treat everything like it's, you can treat everything like it's negative and evil. But I think, and I think this is, I think a negative entity is only going to manifest or attach if you are a negative person. So yeah, if you go on and on and on about how this is a demon and that's a demon and everything else, then yeah, you're probably going to get a lot of negative stuff around you. And I'm not just talking about ghosts or spirits. There are plenty of ghosts still driving meat-covered skeletons that are more scary and more negative than any poltergeist I've read about or encountered. And so I try to stay positive. I try to keep an open mind. I like to live in the mystery. I'm okay with not having an answer for all this stuff. And that's really what I'm trying to do with my shows too. There are times where I'm, steering things my way psychologically or relying on certain, patterns or techniques and such. And then there are times I'm just totally diving into my intuition. And the whole point of it is to create that mystery of not knowing where that is and where one begins and one ends. So I'm totally okay with that when I have experiences like this. So that's kind of what I want to bring to other people. But I don't think no one was axe murdered there. Like, and you can just, again, you can tell when someone's just being super negative and like, oh, there's something evil here. It's like, well, it's always like they're always worried about having something evil attached to them in this other place. It's like they haven't even thought about whether or not they're bringing something in. That's the thing I've always kind of felt. And I also just plain and simply feel, oh, something's been here for over 200 years and they're going to find you so fascinating, they're going to leave. Like, I've been talking to you for 5 minutes and I can't wait for you to leave. Like, I don't want to spend the rest of my afterlife with you. So That's my own feeling. It may completely change in a year or two when it comes to those things, and that's the idea is that we learn more, we grow, we get new information, and yeah, maybe in 5, 10 years we go, oh, it wasn't that, it was this. But that's part of growing, not just holding on to the past.
So it's interesting. You kind of made me think about I used to live in a haunted house and we actually left it very
Mm,
abruptly because things were escalating so quickly.
sure,
But something that you
sure.
said was how when you invite things in or if you're a negative person, those things tend to gravitate towards you.
Yes,
And I find that
yes.
interesting. I was with a group of girls. There were four of us that lived there. One was my sister.
Hmm.
And things began to happen. And of course, like I said, they escalated to a point where we had to move. But it was always my other roommates that would get messed with. It never really messed with me. And I could never really understand
Hmm.
why that was. Like maybe it's just because
Hmm.
I'm like closed off to things like that. I don't know.
Sure.
But it's just interesting to hear you say that. It just made me think about that.
Yeah, and not to say those other three people are terrible human beings, of
Right.
course not. But maybe at the time they were feeling more negative or
Hmm.
more, whatever. I mean, if there's the old saying like everything looks red in rose-colored glasses, but also the same is the opposite. You can, or I think it was Einstein who said you can treat nothing like a miracle or treat everything like a miracle. And I choose to be much to my wife's chagrin, endlessly optimistic. I always joke my favorite conspiracy theory is that everything's going to be okay. And yeah, I'll admit that is hard for even me to believe some days for sure. But I also, again, going back to that, like yeah, once you were out of there, it didn't like follow all of you till you're like your dying day or anything like that. I find a lot of that stuff is left over from Hollywood and some sensationalized reality TV shows.
Hmm.
So, and if you find those entertaining, that's totally fine. I have no problem. I like so many trashy reality shows. Like no judgment there, but I'm also but I also don't want to you know take it too far or base my life too much on it. I love professional wrestling, but I also don't want to put someone in a headlock and slam them into a table if we have a disagreement either.
Yeah.
So
Thought that was just me.
no, it's all no, it's just that's all. Yeah. I mean, yes, we
Depends on the
would it
day.
be nice? Yes, but then you gotta buy another table and it's
More work than worth it. Do you think it attracts more people to your shows if they feel like the place is haunted? Does that make sense? Because,
yeah, no,
people are really into
absolutely.
that these days.
Absolutely. Well, the other thing too, going back to my kind of one of my artistic creative roadmaps is giving people a real life Twilight Zone style experience. And I'm going to come back to what you said in kind of a roundabout way, but I promise it'll make sense. In those, like, so if that episode of the Twilight Zone is set up that, oh, we are going to see a mind reader in a historic and spooky mansion. We don't start that episode, we don't start that story on the mind reader. We start it on the people going in, and maybe one of those people there. Maybe they believe, maybe they don't. They go in, they have to come to terms with something, and they leave forever changed. So I think about the show as, it's not about me, it is about them. It is about, and that's what makes it fun for me too. Like, I don't know how this person's going to react if I get it right. I don't know how they're going to react if I get it wrong either. And that's also why it's not too, don't get me wrong, I always try to be more right than wrong, but I always say mind reading is an art form, not a science. It's not going to be 100%. You're your favorite sports team, the best ones in the world, don't have 100%, touchdown rating. They don't have 100% home run rating. Like, no, none of that. Like, that's, you know. So that said, if I'm looking at it through that lens of what the people are experiencing, it makes more sense to be in a place that has some history and where it feels like something spooky or paranormal or psychic could happen. Now, I'll say this, I ended up in doing a lot of my ticketed shows in haunted locations almost by accident. Like I unknowingly manifested it, I think, because I grew up, again, watching these shows, watching these movies. And I found years ago, there was a mansion that was renting out its rooms as artist studios. And I originally took it just so I would have like an office space, but then I started doing like I realized I could just fit 13 people in there. This is about a decade ago now. And so I started doing like small little 13-person shows, and like the word had gotten out, and I had done like house parties, corporate events. I had been you know, the entertainer. And so I knew I could do the shows. But when I started selling tickets for these like specified events, I realized, oh, people are coming not even to see the show. They're coming to see the experience. Like the show starts in many ways before they even, leave the house, when they get the ticket and all that stuff. But especially not even when they walk through the doors of the building, not even when they go up to the second floor and enter my studio. It's when they first see that building. And that it used to belong to Eliza Ringling of Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey fame. And it was in Crystal Lake, Illinois, not the same Crystal Lake as the ones from the Friday the 13th movies, but it was still called Crystal Lake. So that was kind of cool. So because of all those things, it became like this kind of weird underground artsy project for me, which then ended up winning like all these local awards, like, Best for Live Theater. I won in like a couple things, like Things to Do, theater, because I think people didn't know what category to put it in. And literally my 13-person venue beat out a 400-seat historic theater called the Woodstock Opera House in Woodstock, Illinois, which is where they filmed the movie Groundhog Day with Bill Murray, the building he jumps out of at one point. That's the first stage Orson Welles ever performed in. We'll get to that in a moment. So after doing that for several years, that venue, which is also reportedly haunted, asked me to do a show there. And it was weird because some people were worried that, the show was going to lose its intimacy when it was 400 seats versus just 13. But it's this old school opera house, and it's 2 levels, and the balcony kind of wraps around. So even people in the balcony feel really close. So it still felt very intimate, but because of its history, it still felt haunted. And in the case of that, the old owner of the Maxwell reached out to me. He's like, oh, there's this guy in Illinois doing shows. Let's bring him up here. We've got a cool, spooky old mansion. So again, like, just because I had become known for that smaller thing, and it was funny too, because people would be like, now for the last 10 years, it's been kind of hard to let people know, like, hey, you can book me, and I'll come to your company event and everything else. And, we'll do mind reading. We'll keep it fun. We'll keep it light. We'll keep it entertaining. And it's kind of funny too, because once that contract ended, they ended up closing out the contracts with all their artists at that initial building in Crystal Lake, Illinois, which that's a whole other story for another time. But like right after that was when, again, I started doing shows in the Opera House, and that's also when I did some TV stuff a couple of years ago as well, like the TV show Penn and Teller Fool Us on the CW, which they famously don't like psychics. But because I was able to write a script about my religious upbringing and their skepticism and all of that, the producers decided, hey, this will be cool to have on the show. And they appreciated it too. They even said this was their favorite kind of mentalism, even though they typically don't like mentalism or psychics. But they were like, no, this actually takes genuine mental effort. So we like what you did, which felt good. So again, like just as that door closed, the other one opened, like in a way that it was so perfectly timed, I could not have planned it. And so Yes, and now I have other people who have like reached out to me being like, "Oh, will you come perform at our venue? It's haunted." And it's like, no, you don't have to be haunted. If you just like, I just talked with someone today. I'm going to be doing a show at a brewery in the beginning of the year. They're gonna sell tickets and all that. It'll be a larger banquet room of about 200 people. We did one last year and it sold out, so we'll do it again. And I have the shows and the material to work any size room, any size group, whether it's a big theater or a corporate event. But in those arenas, if it's not a ticket where they're buying to see me, I see it more as I'm a guest in their world. I have to be the weirdness coming into their work world, and so I don't have to quite go as deep or as, for lack of a better term, serious. And in those shows, it is a little bit more like the vibe of, oh, they hired a stand-up comedian who is going to make everyone laugh, work fairly clean, improv with the audience, but also along the way, he's going to tell people their thoughts and memories, and we'll have fun. Versus when they're coming to see me. If they're coming to see me, if I'm touring or something, again, I've done comedy clubs, I've done other venues, but when it's a regular thing like the Maxwell Mansion, like I love the fact that, again, same thing. People arrive, they pull up to it, and you look at it, and you just can, whether you believe in ghosts or not, the most diehard skeptic looks at that place and can still feel the history. And I'm going to get more into, the feeling and all of that. So that's kind of a way to circumvent their skepticism and allow them to have more fun and open up with it in a way that they wouldn't if it was just, in a banquet hall or something.
Do you feel it's
I hope that.
easier?
I was just gonna say, I hope that answered your question. It was kind of long winded, but I hope it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you
definitely.
feel like it's easier to read someone if they're open?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, skeptics are the easiest people in the world to read,
Oh, interesting.
depending on what their not level of skepticism is, but if they even know what the word means. Because 99.9% of people, when they say I'm a skeptic, or someone in their group points at someone and goes, they're a skeptic, I want to go, no, you're not. No, you're not. You haven't gone on a single paranormal investigation. I promise you don't belong to any skeptics organizations. I promise you haven't read a single book on the paranormal. You are just a cynic who doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and you've never even attempted to seek out an experience or investigate. And that's not what a skeptic does. There are tons of paranormal investigators who are full-blooded skeptics, There's plenty of them. And there's it's not someone who believes in nothing. It can, but that's not technically what the traditional meaning of the word is. A skeptic is someone who investigates. If they just don't believe with no evidence for or against it, well, then that person's just being a cynic. That person's just, they're almost more a contrarian than an actual skeptic, which allows me to get away with so much. So for example, a really skeptical person, they always think they're the first person on the planet to come up to me and go, what am I thinking right now?
Yeah.
And I learned a long time ago, the correct response is, you are thinking of how you're going to deny the next thing I say to you. And it's great because they're not even listening to what I'm saying most of the time. They're just getting ready to say no.
Yeah.
So they just immediately go, nope. And everyone starts laughing because that's exactly what I said they would do. And it takes them a moment to go, oh, wait, and at that moment, that usually opens them up with humor. Another thing, if someone is being a big skeptic, If I hand them a deck of cards and say, here, take out a card, I'll purposely keep the Joker in because I know that if they go through and see the Joker, they're going to take it to try and mess with me, thinking that will mess with me. So trying to be unpredictable, they will be more predictable. So that's another way. The other thing I've started to do even before the show, because vast majority of my ticket buyers identify as women. And so if there's a guy at the show, he's usually dragged there by his wife or his partner. So I just as a gag say, thank you so much for coming. Who got the tickets? I know it's going to be the woman. I say, oh, thank you so much for getting the tickets. I turn to the guy and I go, thank you for allowing yourself to be dragged to the show. And it's weird. It's half and half. Half of them get it. They laugh. And the other half kind of go, yeah, how'd you know? And like, I know that person on one level is going to be insufferable because they're going to take this weight. Like, I'll even have to say to them sometimes, like, hey, you're taking this a little too seriously. Like, let's have some fun. Come on. The other thing too is like, that's the other thing as well when it's in an entertainment context and even other contexts too, but especially for something like this, the joke I say too is, oh, this isn't church. You don't have to believe a single word I say in order to have a good time. Like there are plenty of, and in fact, some of my biggest like fans who come back or leave reviews will often say like, oh, I came in super skeptical. And what they really mean by that is, oh, I wasn't sure what to expect, because no one does. It's such a niche form of entertainment. But when they have fun and I interact with them and they see I'm not taking myself too seriously, and also they usually can't always explain what I've done. The best they can usually say is, oh, he's really good at what he does. And like, yeah, that's okay. That is for someone like that, that is their freak out. That's how I know that in their head, they're spiraling. Like, yeah, let's, and so, and it's nice to, who was it? Was it, Bob Dylan? Was it Picasso? Probably a problematic white guy, who said, art is supposed to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. And that's what I'm hoping to find with that stuff.
It kind of reminds me of, well, we're massage therapists as well. And it kind of just reminds me of the people that have never had massage before. It's like kind of the same thing. It's like they have these preconceived ideas of it's going to be like this, but they have no idea. And most likely they're the ones that need it the most. So like you said, when somebody isn't open and doesn't want to do what you're asking of them, they're most likely the easier ones to like get to the root of what's going on. I feel like it's the same thing with somebody who doesn't want a massage and they're like, oh, I don't want to be touched. I'm like, you probably need it the most then. It's just very... And
it's usually for both of us, if there's going to be a TV show, like a sitcom or something, and they go to see like a psychic or a mentalist or something, it's someone taking themselves way too seriously on stage, goth eyeliner, and, be careful of a man dressed in black while they are a man dressed in black, it's like, seriously. And then same thing. Then they go to a massage therapist and the massage therapist is kooky or weird or, being too familiar and all that stuff. It's like, no. These are TV shows, people. Like, has nothing to do with real life. So I can definitely, I have a couple of friends who are massage therapists and we've kind of talked about that, that disconnect as well too. So, but again, it is one of those things where the other thing where they both have in common is you do have to experience it firsthand. It is very hard to experience. It's not impossible, but at least for me, it's not impossible to do it through a screen and such, or long distance, so on. But like, it is one of those things you have to just, you can't just watch someone else do it. You got to be a part of it.
Montana, have you ever had anybody do anything like this to you before? Because I haven't. So that's why I was super excited about this.
I've had tarot card readings and stuff.
Tarot readings, okay. Yeah, perfect, perfect, perfect.
But I
Well, do
fully
you?
believe in this stuff, so
Same.
Yeah, yeah. So, well, do you want to try a few things?
Yeah.
yeah.
All
Do it.
right. So, let's do this to start with. Uh, I'm gonna kind of teach you how it works by sending you and the listeners a thought or several thoughts, I should say. Now, couple things for this. Number one, um, uh, telepathy. It's like any form of communication. Uh, just use a phone call example. If we're talking on the phone, all of a sudden one of our iPhone batteries dies, or we just lose the connection. If we both try calling back at the same time, no connection is made. If we both sitting around waiting for the other person to make a call, no connection is made. And if the other person calls and the other person uh, doesn't answer or is purposely giving the other person a false number, no connection is made. You need one person to make the call, one person to receive the call. So before I try to have one or both of you send me thoughts, I'm going to send thoughts to both of you. Now, I've done this where people can't see me. I've done this audio only. I did this version of this on Coast to Coast AM a few years ago, and we got dozens, if not a couple hundred emails from people saying this had worked. So yeah, as long as people are open to it, it can work. Basically, what's going to happen is I'm going to think about a memory from my past. I'm going to project it to both of you, and we'll see how many of the listeners and if either of you receives a psychic transmission. Now, for the people listening, this won't be a problem, but for the two of you, don't say your answers out loud and don't think about it too much. Go with whatever comes to you like immediately, naturally, like I said before. Intuition is knowing without knowing. So you can close your eyes if you want. If people are listening to this and you're like driving, don't close your eyes. But to starters, just take a deep breath and exhale, or else you'll suffocate. Very good. All right, and take another deep breath. And as you exhale, get in your mind just a number from 1 to 10. Lock it in your mind. Don't change it. Remember that number. All right, we'll do it again. Again, I'll keep it simple. Take another deep breath. As you exhale, get in your mind a direction on a compass. Lock it in your mind. Don't change it. Remember that direction. All right, this last one's going to be the most difficult. This time, I'm going to send everyone two simple geometric shapes, one inside the other, like a square inside something else. Don't pick a square, though. I just said that. Take a deep breath and exhale. Open your eyes. All right. Now, people listening can, of course, message you guys on Instagram or shoot you an email to let you know how they did with this. But right now, we'll see how the two of you did. I thought of a pretty common memory. Again, like you both said, you haven't done anything like this before, so I didn't go super obscure. I thought of my first day of school, freshman year, and I couldn't find geometry class. So I asked someone where it was, and someone said it was on the north side of the building. Did either of you get those? Okay, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, you both did. Okay, great, great. Okay, when I got to the classroom, there were 7 students. Did either of you get the number 7?
No.
Yes.
Just did? Okay, Montana didn't. That's okay. When I sat down and looked at the chalkboard, the teacher had drawn a circle and a triangle. Did you get either of those?
Gosh, both.
You got all 3, Jess?
Yes.
Montana, what'd you get?
Yeah.
Ooh, I've got cold chills.
Mine was a circle and a rectangle.
Okay, so you got one of the shapes and you got the direction. So that's still 2 out of the 4. That's still very, very good. But you got all of them, Jess. So now this is the other thing. I'll do this with an entire audience. And it's fun to see just people like start to react when the people who got all 3. And the thing I joke about too is now if you didn't get any of these right, these are the types of people who, when I asked for 2 simple geometric shapes, they thought of a star inside of a dodecahedron. And very often those are those cynics and skeptics we were talking about earlier. I say, but that's okay, because they're better at generating unique ideas rather than being open to the ideas of other people. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because I'm going to need stuff like that later in my in-person shows. But again, doing something like that with this it's a lot better. So we'll do this. We'll take this a step further you. Uh, with you, Jess. I'm just gonna grab three of. I've just got a couple of my business cards here. Got three of them. And what I'm going to do is since you received those thoughts so well, I'm going to do this with just you so we can get even more specific. Okay. And we'll do it with an imaginary uh, setting. So that way it's not even a memory. We'll both just kind of make it up as we go. Okay.
Okay.
So now it's okay if not. I just want to clarify for while we do this and for the listeners. Do you release a video version? I don't know if I forgot to check in on that beforehand or
we do. Yes.
You do? Okay. All right. I will keep, just to be sure then, I will keep everything up in frame. So if anyone thinks like, oh, he's doing stuff out of frame or whatever, like obviously not. But again, don't want people thinking that, so they can watch this if they want. So let me grab this. Okay, so here's how this is going to start. We're both going to imagine just that we go into an invisible library. Okay.
Okay.
And you get up to a wall. It goes all the way to the right, all the way to the left, floor to ceiling, packed with books. Not a single empty space on any shelf. And I'm going to start with this. Going to write something down, and then I'll try to send it specifically to you. Okay, I'm going to set the pencil down. I'm going to put this behind the other two so you can't see it and I can't change my mind. All right. Now, I want you to just, in your mind, reach out and grab a book. We won't worry about titles. Just tell us, what is the color of the book that you grab?
It's like a maroon, reddish maroon.
Maroon. So a dark red.
Yes. Dark red.
Okay,
maroon.
perfect. Okay, that's great. Is it faded or is it still like really dark?
Really dark.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Perfect. Okay. So now imagine you start flipping through that book and you see the page numbers. I'm going to pick a page number. Don't pick one yet. Just imagine, keep flipping through. I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with this. Again, I'm going to keep this in frame. Again, if we were in person, I'd just put these down on the table, but I want to keep everything up here so you can keep an eye on them. You can't see what I've written, but again, I can't change my mind. I'm imagining one page number. I want you to imagine I'm going to give you one hint. It's a 2-digit page number. Both digits are different, okay? So flip through the pages, and when you settle on a page, say it out loud.
39.
39, perfect, okay. Finally, imagine you look up and down the text of page 39 of this dark red maroon book. In a moment, you're going to settle on a word. Not yet. Again, just imagine you see that text for right now. I'll pick this. Actually, I'm going to cross this out because I think we'll do this instead. All right. Once again, I'll put behind the other so you can't see it and I can't change my mind. All right. Don't worry about the text on the page right now. Just as quick as you can, out loud, say a verb, an action, something you can do right now.
Jump.
Jump. Perfect. All right. So that's all that just came into your head. Did you get any of those, Montana, or no?
I got one.
You got one. Okay, interesting. So I'm gonna keep these in order. I'll turn them around slowly. I did write down dark red. That's why I was double checking when you said maroon, because even a maroon book, like a hardcover, can be kind of faded, but you said it was dark red. I also thought of page 39, and I originally wrote down run, but I crossed it out and wrote jump instead.
Oh my gosh, what?
Is that the one you got, Montana?
No, I actually got the first one.
Oh, you got the color.
I got the red, yeah.
Interesting. Awesome. All right.
Ooh.
So as I know it, you get chills from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's that weird feeling. In my live shows, this is normally when I say I love this moment. No other art form has this moment. It's the moment you go, huh, he can really do it.
Wow.
No other art form has that. You know, you don't go see Taylor Swift and go, huh, what do you know? Guitars exist. So those are my last cards. Here, let me get down to the bottom shelf here. I'm going to grab a notepad for this. Because again, sometimes, because that's the other thing too. Like if I, like we're taking your word for it. Of course, you know, your listeners will take your words of like which ones you got right.
Mm-hmm.
But like if I said, you know, if we were to do those, if you just said you got, you know, dark, you know, maroon, and I go, oh, I was thinking of dark red, there'd still be some worry like, is that really what he thought? So again, doing it this way. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm gonna write this down real quick. All right, Montana. Is it okay if you want to keep it secret, you can. Do the listeners know your first and second initial?
I don't
Obviously,
think
M is for Montana. Okay, are you comfortable
just
with
the
telling
ones
us
that
what your?
know me.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
are you comfortable with saying your second initial on here?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your second initial?
And
N, so it's MN. Okay,
yeah.
like Montana. That's kind of awesome. Or is that Minnesota? I don't know actually. Don't quote me on that. I'm not
I have
sure.
no idea.
I think it's
Uh,
Minnesota.
okay, all right, that's okay. That's okay. And I'm in Wisconsin, and you're in, you know, Ohio, so it's a okay. So here's how this is gonna work. Montana, I want you to think of. Again, I'll keep this up so you can see. I'm gonna draw a heart here. I want you to think of one of the first people you can remember having a crush on. Now, again, I don't want to
Oh
get therapy
God.
personal. Like in my shows, I'll have people like make up a pin code rather than think of their real code. So for this, just think of their initials, and it can be a celebrity. Okay, I won't ask any prying questions of who was this, not even if it was a celebrity. Okay. That said, if it is JTT, I will know it's Jonathan Taylor Thomas, but that's about it. That's the only way I'll know if it's a celebrity or who it is. And I won't even guess. And same thing with the listeners too. Okay. Can you remember their initials?
Just their first name.
Just their first name. You don't remember the.
Yeah.
What about someone else? Someone
Okay.
again, one of the first people. It doesn't have to be your very first crush, but one of the first people you can remember having a crush on, and you can remember both their initials.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So just think of those initials. Don't react, and just look at the camera. Again, I'll keep this up here so you can see it. And I'm going to look right at the camera. Don't react. E, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Okay, I didn't get anything the second time. I think because you were thinking, "Wow, he can actually do this backwards." So let's do that again.
Okay.
Think of both initials once more. Z,
Okay.
Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Now, Jess, did you see any like Sherlock Holmesian micro expression or poker tells on Montana during that, or no? No. Okay. Some people think it's that. Again, that would be science. This is an art form. Here's what I think, Montana. First off, I'm going to say both initials are different. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'm also going to say they are both consonants. Neither are a vowel. Is that correct?
One's a vowel.
Oh, okay. Okay, don't tell me which one. Don't tell me it's the first one or the second one. Oh, because it kind of looks like, okay, I know what threw me off there. Okay, I'm going to write this down now. Moment of truth. Okay, setting the pencil down. You can tell us now, what was this person's initials? This first person you can remember having a crush on.
J
J what? You kind of cut out there.
A.
J A. Okay. So, and this was someone you knew, correct? Not a celebrity?
No, it's a celebrity.
Oh, it was a celebrity. Okay, interesting. I just had the feeling like you were in person with them. I wasn't sure what that was. When was the last time would you say you thought of this JA person?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, okay. Well, especially it's a good thing I wrote today's date then because you can see I wrote your initial
Damn.
plus JA.
Damn.
That's wild.
And we won't go deeper than that. We'll leave it there for now. So
Jess
yeah, so
knows who it is.
yeah, okay, yeah, we won't open up all that can of worms. It's okay. But yeah, so those are the things I do, and yeah, we get even stranger in the in-person shows. I do still do virtual shows because during the lockdown everything went virtual. And what was cool about that, the way I used to end my shows was we'd call someone on the phone and I'd try and read their mind at the finale. So I was kind of in a situation similar to comedians where they'll like open with their closer when they want to work on a new hour of material. That's kind of how I was with virtual shows. I had to open with what I'd been doing for years, reading someone's mind over the phone, and now what else can we build on? What else can we do? I worked on things that involve everyone and so on. So it's still fun to do this, long distance like we just did. So that's fun. And I'll send you a photo of that too, so you can post it on Instagram and all that too.
Thank you.
So we've got that stuff.
Damn.
That's what the fish said when he swam into the cement wall.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Psychic readings and dad jokes, even though I'm not a dad. So, so there we go.
Well, I'm quite impressed. That was pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. I'm glad that worked. So,
well, is there anything else that you would like to share with us before you depart?
Sure. We can do one more thing with the two of you and the listeners. Again, it's not really mind reading, but it does have to do with the mind, so we'll do that. Before we do it, though, just thank you for doing this. This has been a blast, as I psychically knew it would. But this is. Again, I love the vibe, love doing this. I'm glad we got to hear ghostly sounds of the haunted dryer and everything. It's been great.
Yeah.
And if anyone does have any questions about what I do, or if they're going to be in the Midwest area, I'm at Joe Diamond Live on Instagram and all social media platforms. And my email and the website is joe@joediamondlive.com. So the email's probably the best because, as the two of you know, Instagram likes to put stuff in weird folders, 8 pages deep and all that stuff. And, so I do my best to keep up to date with those, but email would probably be the best. If anyone does have any questions, feel free to reach out. And again, joediamondlive.com is where I've got all my stuff listed, my mailing list. And of course, send me the link when this is done, of course, too, or let me know as soon as it goes up. I'll send this out to my mailing list and everything too. So
absolutely.
So this will be fun. So, all right, the two of you ready?
Ready.
All right.
Sure.
So now, again, this is something a little more personal than some of the things I've done, even in my shows. And it's a way to connect, not with me, but with yourselves. And again, the listeners can do this as well. It's not mind reading. It's not even a magic trick. It's something a lot quieter than that. It's something older. And it's an artistic ritual that I've kind of designed to stir the imagination and hopefully unlock something meaningful for you and your listeners. And just one final quick disclaimer, I guess, before we dive in. This is not meant to replace, therapy or medicine. However, I do believe that real mysticism exists in the space between art and ritual. And science shows that even placebos can work. So even if you or listeners don't believe in real magic in the traditional sense, I do ask for the next few moments you make believe and engage in ritual. Otherwise, nothing we do for the next few moments will matter, and I need it to matter. So if you're willing, let's begin. Take your left hand, your intuitive hand, place it over your heart, right there, and nod your head when you feel that steady rhythm under your ribs. Feel your heartbeat. Actually, that's more than a heartbeat. It's a signal. It's a signal that you're alive and you're present, you're here. So inside your mind, just repeat this to yourself. I am ready and willing to accept this experience. Good. Again, you can close your eyes if you'd like, if that'll help. Again, if you're driving, don't, but you can do this if you're driving. And you can do this more than once too, if you ever want to listen back to it and try it out again. I want you to think of the voice of someone you love. Could be someone close, could be someone who lives far away, but someone whose voice feels like home. And again, inside your mind, hear them say the words, I love you. Now freeze that thought. That voice, that's currently just a flicker of electricity in your brain. But if you believe in it, really believe in it, it takes shape. It becomes real. So ask yourself, where is that thought inside your brain? Don't overthink it. Just point to it on your head. Jess, there's Montana. Perfect. It's strange, isn't it, to feel your own thoughts? They live somewhere in your mind. They have weight, they have texture, sometimes even temperature. Let's try another. Picture the face of the person you love, the details, the eyes, the lines around their mouth when they smile, maybe even something you forgot, like the way they tilt their head when they're trying to understand you. Again, close your eyes if it helps and see their face clearly. Now open your eyes and point to where that image of their face lives. Yep, go ahead and point to it. It's in a different place, isn't it? And it feels different too. Yeah? Yeah, you both point at a different place. And some thoughts are soft, some thoughts are sharp, some glow, some sting. Some thoughts I've noticed people say they're hot, some say they're cold. It's different for everyone. But now let's go deeper. Because there's a negative thought hiding inside all of us right now, inside our minds. It's a limitation, a belief about yourself that's held you back, maybe even for years. It's a weight that you've been carrying that does not belong to you anymore, and maybe it never did. Don't say it out loud, just find it in your mind. It might be a memory, an experience, or maybe just a negative voice that says, you're not good enough. That's what usually is. Close your eyes and look for it. And when you feel where it lives inside your head, open your eyes and point to it. It might feel heavier. It might feel even warmer, like a tension or a knot just sitting there waiting. It's okay if it's hard to find. Negative thoughts are kind of tricky like that. They get good at hiding. That's how they survive. But here's the truth. You can move it. And if you move that thought to the front of your mind, you can even remove it. But only if you give yourself permission. So if you're ready, put your finger where that thought is hiding and feel it. And the thought becomes magnetized to your finger. And then slowly pull the thought, dragging your finger across your brain to the center of your forehead. It's already there. You can just leave it there. Imagine it becomes more magnetized to the point of your finger. And once it's at the center of your forehead, pull it forward. Slowly pull it out of your head like a weed from the soil. And if you look, that negative thought is on the tip of your finger now. It's not inside you anymore. You can almost see it just there. And when you're ready, just blow it away. Gone. Some of you likely felt a shift. Maybe even for some people, it's a small pain release and maybe nothing at all. And yet that thought doesn't live inside you anymore. If you try to think it about again, if you try to feel it the way you did before, you can notice the difference, can't you? And that's the power of your thoughts. When you believe in it, it becomes real. But when you release it, it becomes nothing. And if that gives you a bit of peace, like it does for me, take a deep breath, one final exhale. And for everyone listening and for the two of you, in return for sharing this ritual with you, all I ask is that, again, share your ritual with me. I'd truly love to hear from everyone. You can, again, email me through joediamondlive.com, or I'm at joediamondlive on all social media. I love hearing people telling me what they felt. Obviously, if it's too personal, don't feel like you have to. But if you are comfortable sharing with it, I'd love to hear from you. And even if you don't have to share with the detail, I just love hearing from people who have done this with me at different shows and stuff, when they say that they're now carrying the weight of their thoughts a little more lightly now. And so that is my gift for you and all your listeners.
Well, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Any final thoughts before we depart?
He'll probably get more emails than we do.
Absolutely. That was what my thought was.
Okay, how about this? Email them. You know what? No. You know what? How about this? I take back everything I said. Email the podcast, and then down the line or something, we can do a part 2, or even if you just do like a little blurb at the beginning of it, they have CC, they have carbon copy and email. Send both of us. So I'm sure you guys would love to hear it too, of course.
It's an ongoing joke with us that we like to point out
sure.
the fact that nobody
absolutely.
ever emails.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Well, again, my ever patient wife, she once said, walking around with you is like walking around with someone running for the mayor of nothing. So it's like, yep. Yeah. So I'm right there with you. But yeah, but I do think that if people listen to this and try it out, it will be helpful for them. And if they want to keep to themselves, that's fine. But again, you don't have to tell me what it was, but I would love to hear from people who tried this out. And if they don't CC you, I'll forward it to you. So there.
Perfect. Perfect. And hey, maybe someday, if you guys are willing and want to share, we can maybe do an episode about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to do this with us today. It was awesome.
Thank you, Jess. Thank you, Montana. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. And you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
If you think of anything you want to do, just let us know, and
of course,
we're here for it.
Of course. Yeah, when we we've got tons of local folklore, history, other weird stories. And yeah, so maybe when we're done recording, I'll tell you the one thing I'm working on right now that's kind of top secret, but not total. So yeah, that might be something that might be up your guys' alley. So but that way everyone's like, oh man, they're in the cool club now. What do they talk about?
We've been in the cool club. We just got people to like join the cool club.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Well, you can find us on all the social medias. We're on Facebook, TikTok, X, YouTube, Instagram. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/weeklybazaar, $5 a month. It really helps us out. We appreciate it so much. Even if you don't, just listening helps us a ton. And again, if you want to tell them one more time where they can contact you, just so they remember.
Joe at joediamondlive.com.
Perfect.
And you have Instagram as well. They want to follow you.
Yeah, at Joe Diamond Live on Instagram. Yep. Yep, and same thing with TikTok. And I'm not that active on X anymore, but I've been very active on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok in the last year.
Perfect.
Okay.
And if you want to email us with your stories or anything that you would like us to discuss on here, we would love to hear from you at weeklybazaarpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much again for being here, Joe. And remember, you guys, if it's weird,
we're going to talk about it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Joe.
Bye.